Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I pray that you have had a great weekend. I pray that your Monday has started off beautifully blessed. I don't know if I'm going to post this on Tuesday or Monday, but regardless of what day it is, I pray that it finds you in great spirits. And if it does not find you in the best spirits, I pray that I send healing and loving and positive energy your way. And I pray that you realize that a bad moment in a day or in your life does not have to become, you know, a bad life or a bad day. It can just be that moment. And I want to start off with a quote. um, okay, so first I want to say that the episode today is pretty much going into old versus new, which I'm referring to the inner battle, the internal battle that you feel sometimes within the version of you that you may have outgrown and the version of you that you are today or that you're evolving into. This quote I thought of, this came from me just journaling. Alignment at first feels like destruction before it feels like peace, while misalignment feels like chaos and could never mimic peace. Now, to explain what I meant by that when I was journaling, um, when things in your life or when you outgrow things in your life or things have served your purpose, whether if it's people, places, jobs, things, habits, patterns, whatever, they tend to everything tends to seem like it's falling apart, quote unquote, which mimics what is the destruction that is happening around you. Sometimes it can feel like a tower moment, which it kind of is. But if you can just think of a time in your life where everything may have been like it may have seemed like it was falling apart, like you may have lost a job or decided to leave a job, or a relationship ended, or whatever, like things in that nature, things that cause major changes in your life. And for some people, kids are a blessing. I don't have any kids yet, but I can't wait. Well, I can. I'm not rushing it, but you know what I mean. Um, for some people, like I said, some people may find out that they're pregnant or that someone that they're with is pregnant, and it may just be like the most catastrophic news at that moment, but it turns out to be something so beautiful. Just anything that alters the life in some type of way. Summer, sorry, come here. Anything that alters the life in some type of way is what I'm referring to. Sometimes the things that feel like destruction or like change can be uncomfortable is really just alignment trying to take place. Sometimes things no longer align, or sometimes things were never in alignment, because as humans sometimes we tend to force things. And while everything is always meant to be, there is no coincidence in life. I don't care if it's the sandwich you ate this morning. That sandwich was meant to be in your mouth in that moment in time. Like nothing is a coincidence. Um when you've outgrown old things, people, places, or things, any nouns, it everything that is no longer fitting the version of you, anything that is no longer fitting the version of you that you've grown to be or that your soul is trying to evolve into, it's going to be destructive. It's going to seem like it's destructive. And sometimes it's not always destructive. Some change can feel like good change. Like you could be ready and eager for the change that's coming or that is happening in your life. I can relate to that. Just no longer being attached to anything around you, because you know that everything in life is fleeting. Nothing is permanent anyway. But at least that's how I view life now versus someone that used to anxiously attach to things. So that's kudos to myself for that. Drastic change from the past. But yeah, like everything may seem like it's just feeling weird right now. And the reason why I'm going into this right now is because we are post and pre eclipse. And whether or not you're someone that follows astrology, I'm not referring to like the surface level astrology that things have been kind of, I don't want to say, please understand I say this with so much love, but I'm not, when I say dump down, I can't find it's for lack of better word, but a lot of people put astrology and fit into a box of, oh, I'm petty, or I cuss people out because I'm an Aquarius, or I'm always late because I'm a Pisces. Like what? Like it is so much more deeper than that. We are connected to the planets, and they teach. And some practices will teach you, or some people will tell you that astrology is demonic. One of the biggest lies ever told. They only tell you that to help you disconnect from yourself. Because if anyone that is watching this have ever gotten their birth chart, it will read you to the fifth. And how, like, you literally come from the cosmos, you come from the stars. God is within us, God is the universe. Nothing is demonic, quote unquote, about that. Like, you are literally existence. You are the universe walking, experiencing life as a human. So, enough of that. But and I'm not even someone that goes deep into astrology, even though I do know my birth chart. I follow the moon phases because my menstrual cycle is usually in sync with with the moon phases, and the moon controls so much, not just the oceans, but I study the weather. Like, the weather plays a huge part in a lot of what we go through. If you noticed, it rains a lot around the new moon and the full moon. That helps with release. It's just a lot of different things that when you actually study the earth in general and nature, I'm a nature girly, you like you realize how deeply connected we truly are to everything. And with saying that, this pre and post eclipse season, eclipse can usually bring beginnings, endings, whatever way. Um, First of all, the last eclipse, which I think was on August 12th, was aligned with the new moon, as this one that is coming up is aligning with the full moon. Highlight the what the new moon highlighted, and I wrote this down so I can better describe it, because like I said, you may have been going through some of the most strange, weird feelings and emotions over these last few weeks, and you don't know why. You just think you're losing your mind or losing your ish. But the whole time you're not, babes. It's everything is divinely orchestrated in life. um the Leo eclipse new moon that happened altogether asks you to remember who you are before the outside noise, the projections, the fears, the trauma, the ego taking lead over the heart. Who you are, who you were, who you are before all of what was never yours to really carry. Because we carry so much society projections, the projections of others, the expectations of others, the expectations of ourselves, like just trauma, just so much in life. We're to the point where a lot of people are surviving and not living. And that's not really living from the soul. It's living more so from the mind, the ego, because the ego wants to do it, wants to prove, which the ego is a part of you. I'm never saying just forget, just you're not just ever going to have an ego, but it's balance between operating from the heart and ego. You have to find that balance between, because your humanness is your ego, your heart is your soul. Like I said, God is within you. That's the heart, that's that soul, but you're also human flesh. You're literally God having a human experience. So with that, you got to find a balance between the two, and it's not always the easiest process, because especially when you've operated more so from the ego most of your life, or from the mind, which they teach you to operate from a reason, for a reason, just saying. um if you've been like that without even realizing it, it gets, and you actually start to become aware of your true power and like the truth within you, and just trying to like operate more from the heart and not trying to make everything so logical. You're going to go through a battle. That battle is going to be you against you, quite literally. The old, because like I said, the heart and the ego is one of the same. Well, not one of the same, but they're meant to be joined. They're not meant to be fought against. So if you're trying to fight against it, that's when it causes the most friction. So the Pisces eclipse full moon that is coming up, I believe on the 28th, is asking, what are you willing to release to live fully in your truth, to be free of what was never yours to carry? So you may be having some old patterns. Let's say you're on a healing journey. Let's speak for myself because honey, it's been a journey in these last 2 weeks alone. Um, Someone that has dealt with a lot of the old patterns already and like faced them, gave light to my shadows with love, like have done a lot of the deep healing, have dug deep in the past and gotten to the root of everything. This eclipse season has definitely brought up some old patterns that I will sit here and like, I've dealt with this. I've faced this. Why is this coming back up? Why do I feel like this? Why am I so emotional? Why am I so tired but wired at the same time? And briefly, let me just go symptoms that you may be feeling. Like I said, you may have thought you've been losing your mind these last few weeks, but I promise everything is aligned exactly as it is meant. um you may be feeling ungrounded, like you should be doing something but you have no direction or motivation of what you want to do, or like emotional. You may have had urges to cry, you may have had outbursts of anger, you may have had irritation, wanting solitude, kind of just not wanting to be bothered. And not saying everyone is a bother, but depending on what the situation is or who the person is, you just wanting to be in your own space and your energy. Lost but inspired at the same time, wired but exhausted. I mean, I'm talking about to the point where you're either restless when you try to sleep or you fall into a deep sleep and you wake up and it's kind of still not enough. Also, oh my gosh, y'all, the dreams, the vivid dreams. If you've been having some weird symbolic dreams that you just wake up like, sometimes you can remember them, sometimes you can't. Like sometimes I remember like 2 or 3 of my dreams, but some of them I wake up and I'm like so entertained and I'm just like, what the freak is going, what was going on there? And then some of them was very, what's the word I can use, confronting and illuminated some things. Summer, stop. It illuminated some things. And yeah, it just vivid symbolic dreams when you do have that deep sleep. Signs and synchronicities, just like things either just how just signs and synchronicities is the best I can say because there's so much I can say on that. But neck pain, back tightness, headaches, like I said, exhaustion, pressure, sinus pressure, especially in the area of the third eye, tightness in the shoulders, like all of those things. Your body is processing a lot right now. Let me just say that. Um, and for me personally, a lot of the old patterns that have came up for me, like I said, I've dealt with, I've faced, and I've just had to pretty much learn to give myself grace in this period. You may be, and myself included when I say this, you may be going through some of the weirdest times. A lot of people are going through major ego deaths. Like I said, the ego will always be within you, but depth of how it is leading you, of the ego is attached to a lot of just I'm pretty sure you know what the ego is attached to. A lot of things sometimes that helps you, but a lot that hurts you. Like I said, pride is attached to the ego, and pride is one of the oof. Pride can, like I said in my last episode, pride can cost you everything and lead you with nothing and leave you with nothing. So it's attached to a lot of things sometimes that don't serve your heart. They only serve your mind. And what this eclipse season is doing is pretty much closing out the parts of you that can't come with you into who you know that you are. Like, whether or not you're on this healing journey, you tend to realize that, ooh, just you're constantly evolving. It's like trying to put a child into clothes, or even yourself, whatever age you are. Try putting on clothes that you have not worn in 10 years, or clothes that you wore as a child. Like, you're not going to put a child or a baby in clothes that they outgrown from a year or two ago, you know? And that is uncomfortable. If you try to force it, I actually like this analogy. If you try to force yourself back into those clothes or force a child back into those clothes, you can try. You may be able to get an arm or something in there, but you're going to struggle. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be friction. It's going to be uncomfortable because you've outgrown it. And it's the same thing with old patterns and habits and familiarity and comfortability. Like, you outgrow. And one of the I'm not going to say only things, one of the main things in life that makes you move, like guaranteed makes you move, is discomfort. And motivation is one of those two things. You're either motivated to do something or you're so uncomfortable that you feel like you need to do something, which then leads to motivation. Like, discomfort will make you move every time. Like I said, if you're trying to put on those old clothes that don't fit, or you're sitting in a hot car, what are you going to do? You're going to make a change. You're going to do something. You're going to turn on the air conditioning. You're going to go buy clothes that actually fit. Like, you're going to do something to get that change, to get comfortable with what's new. And oh, like I said, it's just so much that this eclipse season has highlighted for me personally. Like, I've been journaling a lot. Like I said, going over the things that I've already healed. Healing, like I said, is not linear. It is not a journey. I mean, it is not a destination. It is a journey. It is not linear. It is very much like this. I've probably said that in every episode at this point because it is true. So you're going to meet the old patterns and the old temptations and the old things that you know that you've outgrown and you know that no longer serves you. You're going to come back face to face to those things no matter how much you've healed, because of the fact that you've healed them. Because you're meeting them with new eyes, you're meeting them with self-awareness, you're meeting them with seeing that, okay, this is something I've outgrown. I can either choose to move forward and let this pattern go, or I can choose to fall back into that cycle. Like, cycles of pain, of temptation, of whatever that you know that you've outgrown. Like, sometimes we go back to what's comfortable because it's what's familiar. Of course, you're going to like what's familiar and what's comfortable. It's comfortable, it's warm. But I was just watching season 4 of Bridgerton, and I cannot remember what Sophie said, but it was a quote on the lines of, well, it was something that she said about, like, sometimes when you're warm and comfortable, it was something about being warm and comfortable and how you can never grow in that. Like, it's comfortable, it's warm, you're snuggly here, and your old patterns and your old habits and even old people that no longer resonate, whatever your old job, it's gonna make you feel, it's gonna have you comfortable. It's like, okay, I know this. I know how to handle this. I know what to do here. I know how to be here. So it's easy to fall back into those patterns, into what you know you've outgrown, versus the unknown and the version of it you know that you truly can grasp and that you really already are. Like I said, it's the only thing that's standing between you and your highest timeline and your highest self is your ability to face yourself and your ability to grasp the fact that you know that you can be more, that you can receive more. You just have to alter the mind a little bit and know, this is what I can be. It only takes you. You're your only obstacle. So when you get out of your own way, as I like to say for myself, and actually get uncomfortable, feel the triggers and the old patterns and the old things that are coming up to be seen, because they're not coming up to punish you. They're not coming up to make you go back. It's coming up to show you, hey, you've made me feel safe enough. And like I said, your inner child, your inner teen, they're in there. They're in there. Once you make yourself feel safe enough to feel all the things that may have been buried deep in your subconscious and in your nervous system, they're going to come up. And honey, when I did not realize that, I didn't know that. Like, earlier on in the journey, and even towards the middle. If you listen, I used to think healing was linear. It's like, okay, I've dealt with this, I've sat with this, I gave this space, I gave this love, I let it go for good. It shouldn't come back up ever again. Boy, was I wrong. So trust me, when I say this, I dealt with the frustration of it too, of revisiting some of the same old things. And I'm just like, now I revisit them with love because your shadows are not meant to be put in a closet. Your shadows do not want to be hidden. They don't want to be shamed. They don't want to be ridiculed. They don't want to be put away in a closet and like, oh, I don't love you. Like, I only love myself when I'm like this. I only love myself when I'm this way, or I should be this way, and then I'll give myself unconditional. No, you need to love your light and your shadows. Love your shadows almost even more than you love your light. Like, love them both because you can't see, like, it's like walking outside, whatever. Like, you're gonna have a shadow. Everything has a shadow. There's nothing that doesn't have a shadow. Yes, there's a part of the day we don't see it, but the shadow is still there. It's not just like, oh, it's not there. Like, everything has a shadow. So the shadows, they're not meant to be put up. And it's an episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog. I'm making a lot of episode references, but it's an episode of Courage the Cowardly Dog where um the creator of the show actually did an interview about it, of how Courage was, I think he was in the basement and he kept having this shadow that was scaring him at first. And please, I may butcher this story, but it's been a while since I've seen the episode. Now I want to go watch it. But the shadow, when no one would believe him, as they never did half the time until they seen it, would believe him about the shadow, he went down there, he started to talk to the shadow. I think it was something like that. Something told him to talk to the shadow, not try to scare it away, not try to hide it, not try to run from it, be scared of it. Talk to it. And when he talked to the shadow, found out the shadow had dreams. The shadow just wanted to be seen and heard and felt. And he actually ended up helping the shadow. Oh, I want to go watch this episode now. He ended up helping the shadow in the end. And it's like, that's the shows that we grew up on. I mean, I'm 28. The shows I grew up on, I can't speak for the shows that are around now because I don't really watch them. But the shows that I grew up on, a lot of symbolism was built in those episodes. And you don't really catch it until you're older. And if you're lucky, you may have some people around you. Like, I want to point it out to my kids. I want them to watch the shows I grew up on. I don't care how old they are. They're gonna watch the shows I've grown up on, and I'm gonna let them know the symbolism behind it. But it is so much beautiful symbolism behind it all. And it's like I said, your shadows, they're not meant to be ridiculed. You don't have to look at your old patterns in disgust. You don't have to look at your old ways and be like, I'm not that person anymore. Oh, I can't be like this because this is not who I want. Like, yes, you can be the best version of yourself. You can want to be the best version of yourself, and you can be that. But do it while showing love to every version of you that brought you here. Because if it wasn't for the versions of you that have led you to who you are today, you wouldn't be here. Those patterns, that protection, that survival mode that you may have been grasping on for all of your life, it may not resonate with who you are today. And I'm speaking to myself as well, but that does not mean it meant to be discarded with disgust. It's meant to be felt. It's meant to be loved. It's meant to be seen. It is meant to be honored. Because, like I said, if it wasn't for those shadows, you would not be able to recognize your light. If it wasn't for the bad days, you wouldn't be able to recognize the good days. If it wasn't for the rain, you wouldn't be able to appreciate the sunshine. It's all beautiful. It is all beautiful, and it is all a gift. So, I also wrote some stuff down. Let's see. Pretty much went over what I wanted to go over. This is really an episode of encouragement. Like, if you've been feeling off, you've been feeling lost, if you've been feeling exhausted, please rest without guilt. Please pour into yourself with unconditional love. Please give yourself space to be all that you are. Please understand that you are that unconditional love that you need, the same grace and unconditional love you may be giving yourself, your kids, your family, your partner, your coworker, your boss, whatever, give it to yourself. It starts with you. Let's see. And please understand that you have free will. It's easy to fall back into old patterns that no longer serve you or resonate, but that don't serve you and it no longer resonate. If it don't, then it just don't. Don't make the old fit. Don't make the old clothes fit when you know they don't fit anymore. You don't have to do that. You don't. Honestly, if it was ever a moment, I don't even think my soul would allow, well, not even I don't think, I know my soul would not allow me to fall. Like, I trust my baseline now, and it's really that's what it all comes down to. Trusting yourself and your baseline and knowing, okay, I can see these old patterns or I can feel these emotions, but I can also always trust that I got me. Like, I can always trust that I know how to come back to my center. I can always trust that no matter what happens outside of me, that I am whole and that I am home and that I get to choose peace. I get to choose happiness by simply choosing it, not because of what's happening outside of me, not because of how I'm perceived or whatever, but because I know me, because I trust me, because I love me, because I honor all that I am. It's beautiful to, like, because I didn't always have that self trust. I would make a bad moment a bad day, which is why I said that in the beginning of the episode. Like, you don't have to, if your day didn't start out the best, if your week didn't start out the best, it don't have to be a bad week. It don't have to be a bad day. It can just be that moment. It can just be a moment where you were meant to feel all that you were meant to feel, and now you can choose how you proceed through the rest of your day and your week, and your life. Let's see. Like I said, give yourself grace because healing takes time and it goes deep into the subconscious. Like, it changes the brain chemistry. When you realize the power of your mind, you actually work to, like, make your mind work in your favor and not against you. You're changing the brain chemistry. In the process of healing, you're releasing not just trauma that is yours, but trauma that is ancestral. The same way, like, you go to the doctor and they say certain stuff is hereditary. You don't just get like, health problems is the only thing that is in the bloodline. Trauma is too. So some of the stuff you're healing isn't even yours, babes. And that has been huge for me too. Like, all of it has not been mine, but I've still held space for it all because you can be that generational curse breaker. You don't have to say, okay, well, I'm like this because so and so in my family is like this. You don't have to take that on. You don't. You can make your own new generational blessings, not curses. um, so yeah, give your nervous system evidence that you're safe. Allow yourself to feel safe. Allow yourself to feel joy. Allow yourself to feel sadness. All of it is a gift. All of it is worthy of feeling. All of it is amazing when you actually look at it from the perspective of, you can't appreciate the good days if you haven't really looked into or set in the bad ones. What else? What else? What else on this beautiful Monday? Oh, like I was just saying, I wrote this down too. Freedom in life is not getting to the state of not caring or where nothing can touch you. It is the state of following it's the state of allowing everything to touch you without being altered by it. Like, you can have a bad day. Like I said, it does not have to become a bad week or a bad month or a bad life. You can meet someone that may not have served you the best intentions in life or had the best intentions with you in life, but you don't have to move that analogy of that one person, that one situation you have, into every other person that you meet in life. Like, you don't have to be altered by it. You can feel the projection, you can hear the projections and the opinions of others, but you don't have to become what other people perceive you to be. You can know who you are. Like, you don't have to be altered by everything that's external. You can just simply allow yourself to feel and to be and to just move on. It's easier said than done, yes, but once you get into the doing of it, it becomes easier done than just sitting in it. Ah, be the change and the love in the world when it seems absent. I was out the other day and I heard someone say that they hate PDA. And when I heard that, I was like, people are so willing to argue. Well, I'm not saying sit here and just tongue someone down in front of children. Like, I'm not saying that. But PDA in the sense of like, giving your kiss, holding hands. Like you see it, but at the same time, you don't see it as often. Some people only like to be lovey dovey in private, but they'll argue in public. They'll fight in public. Like you'll literally see people get in a full brawl in front of children, but you don't want to kiss your husband or wife in front of them in public. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, be the love and the change in the world that you don't see. Be the energy that you want to feel when you walk in a room. Don't get in a room like, okay, everyone in here is dull, no one's doing anything. I'm just gonna be. No, if you went out and you want to feel something, be that energy. You don't have to become your environment. Be the environment you want to be in. And like I said, oh yeah, I wrote that down too. Shadows don't want to be hidden or ridiculed. And understand that you don't need fixing. The version of you that you are right now is worthy, beautiful, deserving, and enough. And embrace this unknown, uncomfortable time that you may be feeling, and knowing that this is not a permanent time frame. And choose to kind of get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Like, don't go back to what is already comfortable and what you've known you've outgrown. Like, if there's habits or patterns that have came up, that does not mean they're coming up to take you back. It doesn't mean that you're doing something quote unquote wrong. You have finally created the space within yourself where all of these things can come up and be released. Release it. Let it go. Let go of what no longer serves you. Let go of what you've outgrown. And I promise you will love what's on the other side, no matter how unknown it may be in this moment. Mm. And it don't have to be a fight. Like at first I was fighting for sure. I was like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to feel this. I don't want to. Then I was like, I trust myself. This is only happening because of the space I've created for myself. Because I've healed, because I've evolved, because I have the self-awareness to finally see the patterns that were used to be so normal to me that I wouldn't in my mind even point out. Like, it's only because of my self-awareness. So yeah, give yourself grace and love. And also don't overanalyze everything in life. Everything matters, but nothing matters. Everything makes sense, but nothing makes sense. If you get it, you get it. hmm. I feel like that's all I wanted to say today. Just bringing like just a motivation to just keep going and to know that you are exactly where you're meant to be in this present moment of time. You are exactly who you are meant to be. And despite what it may seem in life, despite the hardships that you may have gone through, you don't have to be your pain. You can turn your pain into power. You can turn your pain into purpose. You can turn everything that may have won against you into things that work for you. You can let go of those doors that may have closed because greater, bigger, more vibrant doors are opening. Just be open to everything that is flowing to you. I don't care how uncomfortable it feels, I don't care how great it feels. Everything is fleeting. It could rain all day today, for example, which is not, but it could rain all day today, but it can be sunny all day tomorrow. Just go with it. Trust the process. Surrender. We're giving everything at our feet, despite how the world has taken and tried to make us pay for everything. But we are giving everything. And the only thing the universe asks in return is faith and surrender. So I let it all go. The only thing I can control is what's in here. As long as I control what's in here and what's in here, God got the rest. It's going to reflect outside of me regardless. So, yeah, I pray you have a beautiful Monday and a beautiful rest of your week. And be blessed, be the blessing, and keep your heart open to all of life, all of it.